Hi, it's Meg from Meg's Garden Papercraft coming you today to show you one of the journals. I made actually two and a card using the Sherlock is Puzzled Papers collection. This journal uses all of the non-Sherlock cut and creates, that is the cut and creates not featuring Sherlock at all. And the front one is fussy cut, and it's just laid flat on the front. The spine has some cream mesh ribbon, one of my favourites, and a couple of cut and creates, foam mounted on black cardstock. This one is mocha, and I think someone forgot to do the back, so I'll have to get that done. This is a journal that kind of got away from me, and I'm not quite sure how it did that, but it did. And I've got a new version of doing journals, which I kind of like. This is cream twine, and it's just holding the journal together. And it's done by, this is, the cover is 12 inches wide and 6.5 inches high. This is the cream. And the trick with holding it together, and I'll show that to you, I think, at the end, maybe not. What I've done is, this is 12 inches wide, so I've turned in half an inch on each side, even though it doesn't look like that. I think I might have been a bit off on my measurements. And I have a piece of cardboard underneath the same width and length, and that reinforces it so that it's got a bit of weight. And then a hole is punched, and you can put your ribbon through there. And then you just decorate it as you wish. This side is done with a little tea-dyed little booklet, just glued down, and cut and creates used on it. I think this cut and create didn't fit, so I chopped off the edge of it. And this one has two. This one's flat and this one's foam mounted. This one is mounted on black because it was a little bit dreary and I wanted to pick up the browns in here. Now, this is where it gets complicated because I ended up with several signatures that I had to somehow get into a journal. This is my answer to this. And these are the problem children, or problem signatures I should call them, and I'll show them to you. Now, this is the first signature, and this is the second signature. Major signatures, I should call them, and you can see them right there. But inside each of the signatures is another signature, and this is the second, this is the one in the first signature. It's shorter, it's got the scores here, so it folds over, and then folds over again, and it is glued to the scores, or the fold here, the gusset here. And I've got a PDF file to show you the measurements, so I won't go into the measurements here because it could be messy. So this was loose, this one was loose, this major one was loose. You can fold them any way you want, and they were sitting on my desk before I could figure out how to do them. Now we come to this other one, and this is the major one, the major signature right here, and they're glued to the spine. The first signature, major, is glued to the edge of the spine here, and the second one to the edge of the spine right there. Now, this one I have to figure out which one's which. This is a small signature, so we'll leave that one alone. This is another signature right here. So we've got two in here. We've got this little one, and the major one goes here and across to here. And this is the larger one. So, and this actually was cut off because it was a problem. Not that we ever have problems with a journal, but this is the little one, and it's the same kind of thing as the inner journal on the major signature one. And it's just tucked in. I've used one of the papers from the puzzled Sherlock and cut them like washi paper. And this just tucks in. This is the paper itself, and it's used as a background. And we've got tags. So this is the first little inner signature. And this one is the larger, the second inside signature. And it's using the same paper again. And it glues onto the score right in here. This one glues onto the edge. And you can see why I had trouble with them all, because they were all just sitting, staring at me, going crazy. So this is the inside, the larger of the two inserts, or in the inside journals, whatever. And the scores down here and down here, they're all listed on the PDF. This one folds over. This doesn't need to be there. And this one folds over. This is the middle. This is the inside cover of the second major signature. And then this one sits on the edge. So that's glued right on the edge there. This is on the back of this signature, and that's just another little book done with tea-dyed vellum, piece of the sheer mesh ribbon, and some paper for notes. And then this is on the inside of the cover. So I had all of these sitting on my desk, all separate. And I had to leave them alone for a couple of days because they were just depressing me. I couldn't deal with it. And then I thought, I have to make a cover that's not solid. So it's not going to be lined with cardstock. It's not going to have any of the heavy card. So it actually needs to kind of wrap around somehow, so that the inside can sit and not be squashed by the heavy outside. So this is what I came up with. A cover that's somewhat flexible, but can deal with what you've got on the inside, and it's easy. It only takes one piece of cardstock, goes all the way around. The spine is glued on the inside of the cover. It's heavy card, and then covered with the cardstock, and it just glues on the edge. And if this is glued all the way to the edge, you can't see that it's sitting there. So I hope this all makes sense. You might want to look at the dimensions in the PDF. But basically, we've got the cover with its two pieces on the inside, reinforced, and then a hole punched. And you can use ribbon, twine, as I have used. I've got another one coming up that uses raffia. So you could use thin satin ribbon if you're using a shabby chic one. Choice is yours. And then we've got this signature right here, and that's glued right there to the edge of the spine. And then inside it we have the small one that's glued to the first gusset on the major signature number 1. This could sit over here. You could glue it on this side. They can fold any way you want. But this way it gives you, they don't have to sit flat. They can have a bit of bounce on them because the cover will allow that. On this side we have this major signature, and it's glued to the edge. And then inside it we have this signature, which is glued to the center of the spine there, and it has its own scores. And then we've got the little one that sits on the edge here. Now this did have another piece going over, and I messed it up, so I just cut it off. That's why you can see this score here. But the scores in the dimensions ignore the fact that I messed up there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun once I got going. And this just ties up. Give yourself enough room, and it just ties up with a bow. You could have a fancy setup with hooks and whatever. But this is the journal. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gives you some inspiration. It's a nice change from the normal journals. And I've got another one coming up right after this one that uses only the Sherlock Cut and Creates. So this is Meg saying bye and out, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye.